today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Omni apps, right? And Omni apps are basically a very exciting and useful feature, and I'm super excited to be talking to you guys about it. And I'm sure that you guys will be excited about this at the end of this session too. So let's just move on to the content itself, right? So first, what is an Omni app? Like an Omni app is all for one and one for all. And what I mean by that is that it's a new kind of app that can run across multiple Freshworks products, right? And Satvik already spoke to you guys about the importance of having apps that can run across multiple products because less is more. And I will come to that in just a second. So the main point of this is that you can write your app only once, but you can deploy it across multiple Freshworks products. So today, if you take each of these products, if you take Freshdesk or Freshchat, Freshsales, you're writing separate apps, even if they end up doing the same thing. So even beyond that, we feel that it's very important to give you guys the power to sort of represent more global use cases. That is, if you write a single app, then you will be able to run it across multiple products, and therefore you can, provide a greater experience for your customers as well. So that's the basic idea, right? And okay, 1 second. I'm just going to start my video now. Safe. Okay, so I think that part's fine. So hi guys again. Now you can see me as well. So just moving on, right? Why Omni apps, or what is the biggest advantages that you sort of get with Omni apps? The first, like I said, is you need to upload only a single app. And I can't stress on this enough, right? It's like, going from carrying like 5 different tools in your pocket to just carrying a Swiss knife. Because now you have a single app that can do whatever you need it to in multiple products. And that's one of the biggest advantages that an Omni app gives you. And the second thing is, there's less code to write and manage. And this is where I stress whatever Satvik said, that less is more. Not only is it in terms of just the fact that you have multiple apps, but generally itself in software engineering, you hear that less is more because reusability gives you that sort of advantage. You don't have to write as much, and you don't need to, you don't need to actually manage so much of code, which makes it very easy. Now, the third one is it makes it easier to develop apps for global use cases. So Satvik gave a great example again. So he was talking about Trello. So you might have use cases or integrations that work with multiple products. And instead of writing separate apps for each of these products and having to maintain them, like I said, you can go for an Omni app. And so you can, sort of widen your horizon. You can, consider bigger use cases and not be limited by the fact that you need to upload multiple apps anymore. And lastly, it gives a better experience to the customers as well, right? Because a customer who's already used your app in one product, if he's going to another product or if he's using another product and he wants the same, integration or use case, then obviously it'd be great if he could have the same experience because he already knows the interface, he knows where things are, and that will give him a more seamless transition of using an app between two products. And so that's another place where it makes so much sense to have an Omni app. So these are just some of the benefits of an Omni app. And I just added a quick meme to just like, talk about that situation where you're sitting in your office and you go, oh, but I need the same app for Freshsales too. And that's the sort of use case that we're trying to solve with an Omni app. So moving on, even though it seems like a lot of things are changing, like, oh, we have a new product now, we're sort of like helping you guys bring that back and keep things the same way, because like you guys would have noticed, Fresh CRM is like a boosted Freshsales, sort of like with additional features in terms of like it's an integration of Freshsales with other products like Freshmarketer and things like that. So the first Omni app that we present to you, the one that's supported today, is the Omni app between Freshsales and Freshworks CRM. So basically, you write only a single app and it will work across two products. And this doesn't mean that things need to be exactly the same. Like you can customize the user's experience, which is what I will be talking you through. But the biggest point today is that right now, today, like after this session is over, as in after the huddle is over, you can go and you can write an app that will work across two products. You can change your app from just working on Freshsales to working on Freshsales and Freshworks CRM, and it is super simple, which is what we'll be saying today. So the first advantage in terms of building an Omni app is that it gives you a sense of direction, right? If I had to sum this up in like 5 words, I'd say your app has a map now, right? Because your app can now take decisions based on the information that it has. Your app will now know which product it's running in. So you can decide what you want to do. You can decide if you need to load this field because it's Freshsales, or you don't need to load this field because it's Freshcrm. And the second thing is that you can send API requests to the right place, because this is a big problem that will come up, right? So I support multiple products. So let's say a user clicks on something and I need to make an API call. Like, how do I know when to make that API call, where to make that API call to? So you can now, your app can now make the decision to send the API request to the right place with the product context. And last of all, because of the fact that we're giving you the domain as part of the product context, you don't need to collect that anymore as part of the installation parameters. So automatically your app will be able to access the domain of that particular user's account. So just to give you like a basic example of what this would look like. So here is the example of a product context object for Freshsales. So you'll have the product context, and then it will have the URL as well as the name. So basically, the name is the product name, and the URL is going to be the domain of that account. And this, again, like I said, makes your app even better, because your app can now decide what it needs to do and decides where it needs to call as well. So this is an example for Freshsales. And if we move on, this is an example for Freshworks CRM. So again, you see that the structure is exactly the same. It's just that the name would have changed to whatever product, and the URL will also be the URL for the Freshworks CRM product. So basically, you can use this to make your decisions. Now, the second feature is, you can use or leverage the dynamic iparams.json. And why I say dynamic and I put it in bold is that, you only need to define the structure. You need to say, okay, like I want these fields here and I want them to say this. And you don't need to worry too much about the styling and stuff like that, because it's like you just need to make vanilla ice cream, and then we will worry about putting chocolate sprinkles or any other topping based on whatever is needs to be shown to the user. Like, oh, this product is Freshsales, do we need to apply this theme? We'll apply the theme. So all your app needs to worry about is putting the installation parameters in there, and that will just give them give the users a seamless flow as well. So just sort of adding on to that, we have a lot of utility functions. So I'll just give you an example so that you understand better. So here you see two installation parameters, or two installation parameter pages. One is for Freshsales and the other one is for Freshworks CRM. And both of these are not the same, obviously, like you guys can see, but both of them come from the same code. They come from a single app with a single iparams.json, except that your app can now choose when it needs to show a field, when it needs to show what description, and great things like that. So if you look here, it says sync with Freshsales deals. Here it says Freshcrm deals. This field is not even shown in Freshsales, even though it's required in Freshcrm. So these are the sort of things that you can do with utility functions. And I will also show that to you guys during the demo or play along session that we have. And the last one is that if you want to get a field like the API key, then you don't need to worry at all. You don't need to think about, oh, multiple products, how is this going to work? Because ultimately you'll need the API key of the current product or the product which the user is using. So all you need to do is this. Whatever you guys were doing before, just exactly the same. Type is API key, it's secure, it's required. You just add this type attribute and you say product is current. That's all. And irrespective of which product it renders in, it'll make sure that it's getting the current product's API key. So it becomes as easy as that. So that's the second. Third is, you can choose how you want to evolve through the custom iparams.html. We're still supporting the custom iparams.html, and your app will be able to access the product context, and using this as well as element manipulation in HTML through like a JavaScript. You can definitely do this, although you most probably won't need it, right? Because like I said, you can just leverage the dynamic iparams.json. And we had a session even in the last huddle by Hem Chandar where he explained how to make use of this to build simple and complicated use cases. And so, like, I don't think you will need custom iparams.html, but in the very remote chance that you do need it, we still support that. So in case you're trying to, sort of manipulate whatever you have with the product context, you're trying to decide what to do, then this is like an example of that. So you can get the context like this. You can say client.context.product context. So it's exactly the same as any other, like normally you do client.data.request or whatever it is. So it's exactly the same way, just client.context.product context, and then .name will give you the product name. And based on that, you can decide what you need to do. And with that information, you can choose to render a customized experience to the user. So you can say, this is the custom installation page for Freshsales or Freshworks CRM based on wherever they are. And the last feature, not the least though, is manifest.json routing. So basically how this works is, normally before this, you used to include whatever events you were wanting to subscribe to and the handlers that were needed in the server.js. But now, given that you have a more global use case in your product, your app is going to run across multiple products, that routing will be done through the manifest.json. So let me just show you an example so that you guys understand it better. So here is an example of that. You have both products, Freshsales and Freshworks CRM, in your manifest file. And then you can choose which events you want to subscribe to. So you can say in Freshsales, I'm subscribing to 123, in CRM, I'm subscribing to 123. And now what this does is it lets you specify handlers for each event, right? So for each event, you can choose what handlers you want to specify. And the second thing is that you can get common or different handlers. So the thing is, if you want to use a common handler, for example, my lead create event in sales and CRM, I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to use the same handler. Then you can do that. If you think, no, I want to use a different handler for for the event in sales and a different one in CRM, you can do that. If you want to, say, I want to listen to this event in sales, I don't want to listen to it in CRM, you can still do that. So that's the sort of, customizability and sort of flexibility that you get with Omni apps as well. So, it gives you that added advantage. And another thing to note is that your app will be getting the product context as part of the serverless event payload as well. So you need not worry about anything. You can just use the product context in your app in order to decide whatever to do. So, with that in mind, I think that that's enough talking from my side. So let's, move on to the play along. So like Linus Torvalds said, talk is cheap, show me the code. And so like we can head over to Glitch and we can continue this from there. So guys can go to this link. I think somebody will post it in the chat. Yes, thank you, Raviraj. So we can just head over to Glitch, right? Okay, I'm just gonna, okay, I see people coming in. Awesome. Okay, so let me just give you a quick like summary of what the app is going to do. All right. So today we're going to do something new, right? In the previous huddle and the one before that, like when I was demoing an app, like I used to show a part of the app that's already working, and then we used to build something on top of that or beside that. Today we're going to build like the app from scratch. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to build an Omni app that integrates the two products, Freshsales and Freshworks CRM, with Super SaaS. All right. So Super SaaS is just a calendar. Okay, it's a basic calendar app. It looks very archaic. Okay, it's just a calendar app. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make this app work with two use cases. So it's going to one, show the schedule for the day to a particular user. So let's say that I'm somebody who uses Freshsales. I'm going to be on a lot of calls, on a lot of meetings, and I want to see what my schedule is for the day. So that's what the app will do. On your deals page, it will show you what exactly is your day's schedule. So that's one. And the second is that it's going to be synced in the backend, that is via serverless, to the on deal create event. So whenever a deal is created, it's going to automatically create an appointment in SuperSaaS. All right. So those are the two things that the app is going to do. And obviously, it works in two products at the same time. So this is pretty exciting. So let's go ahead with it, right? So in case you guys want to check on like the prerequisites, the things you'll need are a Freshsales account, a Freshworks CRM account, the SuperSaaS account. It's free to sign up for. Some help from developers. You don't need this. I need this. I need help from you guys. And a little bit of magic, which is FDK, obviously, right? So first, let's go to the iparams.json. So let me first explain how we're going to do this today. So today's app is like a puzzle. It's like a 4-piece puzzle. Okay. So the first piece is the iparams.js piece. And what this means is that I have some parameters declared here, right? I have an API key, a SuperSaaS API key, SuperSaaS schedule ID, SuperSaaS prefix. I have some 4 fields here. Now I'll tell you what the problem is and what we need to solve for. So if I go here, and you guys are used to this by now because of the end-to-end testing. So let's say I click install. And this is Freshworks CRM, guys. So remember, this is Freshworks CRM, right? In Freshworks CRM, you see all 4 fields. And in Freshsales, you see all 4 fields again. Now, this is the problem, okay? This is a problem that we need to solve. And additionally, the API key and SuperSaaS schedule ID do not have any hint or description as to what they need to do. So basically, both the products are showing the same fields, and this is not something that we want. Basically, what we want is this, okay? In Freshsales, we want to show only 3 fields. We don't want to show the prefix field that's being shown in Freshworks CRM. And obviously, the API key and the schedule ID need to have proper descriptions or hints. So this is the first piece in the puzzle, the iparams.js piece. Okay. So I'm going to need like somebody's help. So let's go over to the iparams.js and let's get started with this. Okay. So I need, okay, I see, okay, Arshad. Cool. So here's what we're going to do first. All right. Oh, I see a lot of other requests. I will get to it. There's like 4 pieces, guys. Don't worry. So the first thing we need to do is we need to declare 2 functions, right? One for Freshsales and the other one for Freshworks CRM in order to display the fields particular to that product. So I've given like a basic description here. The Freshsales page should not show the prefix field, and the hint, whatever, for the schedule ID should be this, and the API key field should be this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 functions. So let's say the first function is going to be Freshsales installation page, or let's just say iparams. All right. And then this is going to be a function. And this is going to take in the utils. And we're going to have something very similar to this in Freshworks CRM. So I'm just going to say FCRM. Okay, so Arshad, what I want you to do is use the utils in order to achieve what we want. So for Freshsales, what we want is we don't want the prefix field to be shown. And we want to change the hint for the schedule ID field as well as the API key field. And if you want to know how to use the utils functions, then you can basically look at our documentation. It mentions here how you can use it. So utils.set of label. This part is used when you want to change the display name, whatever is shown for the field. The hint, this is basically the hint or the description. And you also have a value for the visibility itself. So basically you can use these functions in order to do what we need. So yeah, can you just go ahead and make sure that the prefix field is not shown. So this field basically should not be shown in fresh sales. And you need to change the description for the API key field as well as the schedule ID field. Okay, cool. I love this talking through comments. It just makes it feel very like this is like the best sort of chat. Like when there's code below and there's chat above. Social media apps should really take a hint from this. Okay, yeah, Arshad. So can you just go ahead and write the utils.set functions for the same? You can write it directly inside the function. Yeah. So basically, we need to make the visibility for the prefix field as false. So you can get the ID for the field from here. So this is basically what you'll use to refer to the field. And yeah, you guys can check the documentation at any time, right? So it's really simple. It's just the field name, and then you can choose whatever attributes you want to apply to it. That's all. Yeah, and then you just need to pass an object. I think this will come at the end. You just need to pass this object, and you need to say what you want to do for that field. So basically for this field, we want to make the visibility of the field as false. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if that's the key name. Okay, it's my bad. It's visible, not visibility. That's a very minor change.
Can I get the documentation link in the chat, please?
Yeah, I think somebody just posted it in the chat.
Thanks.
In case you want to just have it on your screen. So this is just for the visibility. You can just say visible false. And if you want to change the description or the name of the field, you use either the hint or the label based on whatever value you want to show. Yeah, so we've changed the visibility part. And now we need to change the description for the schedule ID field and the API key field. Okay, so we need the visibility to be false for the prefix field, not the schedule ID field. So you'll have to plug in the name of the prefix field. Yes. And so the hint just has to be, yeah, you can just copy paste that. Perfect. So this as prefix and schedule ID. Yes. And you can do the same for the API field. Just set the description. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to point out, right, when Arshad is doing this is how simple it is to be like, changing this based on the product. Yeah, Ashad, I think you copied the CRM description. We need the sales in this function and the CRM the next one. Yeah, so I just wanted to point out like how simple it is to be doing this, right? Because I have a single iparams.json, and all I'm doing is just saying, yeah, I just want this field to be shown or not shown. And I'm saying I can change the description any way I want. And so like you have a lot of powerful tools in order to customize the experience for the user. Yeah, perfect. So this function is done, right? And the next function, what we need to do is we need to display the prefix field, which is already done because it's already there. And so we just need to change the hint for the schedule ID and the API key to the Freshworks CRM values. Awesome. So then we can move on to the next part, which is in this function, we just need to first fetch the product name, right? And like I mentioned, you guys can get that from client.context.productcontext.name. And it's super simple. And you guys, your app can use this to make smart decisions. Yeah, somebody is right. The label should be Freshworks CRM API key and Freshsales API key. In these two places should be the label, not the hint. Yes. Great. Thank you for pointing that out, Suresh. Right. So yeah, I think Arshad's got this. Yeah, you just need to check the product name. So based on the product name, you can just call the right function. That's all.
Okay, may I know how the product names are?
Yeah, I mentioned them in the comment below. Product
Okay.
names are sent as
Sorry.
Fresh Sales and
Sorry,
Freshworks
not
underscore
seeing.
CRM. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Don't worry about it. So you can just pass the utils. The utils will be available in the iparams.js. So you can just say fresh sales iparams of utils. Yeah. Okay, awesome.
One quick clarification here.
Yes.
Okay. In the product context, okay, we will only get the product name, right? What is mentioned here, right?
Yeah.
If the product is mentioned as Freshdesk, we will get that. We won't get
Yeah.
any other values. Okay, fine.
So you will be getting the product name and the product domain, what is known as the product URL.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're done. That's it. So let's just quickly test this out and see if we have everything working properly. So I'll just reload both these pages and we'll go back. And this is Freshworks CRM. So we should be seeing all 4 fields. And we have the API key name changed. All right. Oh, the schedule, SuperSaaS schedule ID. Yeah, this part is fine. Freshworks CRM. I think maybe my internet is slow. We can, in the meantime, we can test. this. Okay. I think possibly I might just have to restart. So name, yep, seems good. Just check this out. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so I think these should be, these don't need to be strings. That's probably the problem. So you can just change this. All right, so now we'll try reloading. Okay. Hmm. This doesn't seem to be,
On-form load automatically gets invoked, is it?
yeah, it gets triggered automatically.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, let's probably move on to the next part, and then I will debug this while we're doing that. So, okay, so the next part is that we need to show whatever is like the meetings for the day, right? So we need to show the user all their meetings for the day. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to create a get meetings function. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to make an API call to get all the meetings for the day from SuperSaaS. So can I have, okay, I have a volunteer, Rajesh, come on in. So what this is going to do is first it's going to empty the value in the div that I have. So if you look at my template.html, then it has this div that says meetings. And basically we're first going to empty this, very similar to how we're setting it here. We're just going to empty it. And then we're going to make the API call to this URL. Okay, so all you need to do is make this post API call, this get API call, and you just need to substitute this schedule ID from the iparams as well as the API key from the iparams. So yeah, you can start that Does Rajeshwaran have mic permissions? Is he trying to say something? If not, you can like get started. Just like we need to empty the div, and then we just need to make an API call to this. And I will tell you what to do next. Okay, so if you want, you guys can again use the documentation. The request method is here. So you guys can just check out how to make this API call. You don't need any options for this API call. You can just directly do it. Yes, we do have FDK create for Omni apps. If you guys have updated your FDK, then you should be able to see it. It's right at the end. There's a FDK create option for Omni apps. So in the meantime, I'm going to try and debug what possible mistake I could have made. Yeah, so you can just, Rajeshwaran, you can directly substitute your hyperams. Okay, so in code looks good. I think the only thing is maybe for some reason the on form load didn't trigger. Not sure why. So let's just give that another try. So while he is making that API call, I'm just going to go here and go back to all right. The only thing that I can think of is maybe that he missed this. There any commas missing anywhere? Okay, let me check the documentation. Okay, so this needs to be a Boolean directly. Oh, I see someone just pointed out. Yep, it is not the same thing. It is definitely not. JS is very weird. What's one of the few things that are frustrating. So I think this should make it fine. Product is okay. I think we're good. Oops. I'm going to load the sales marketplace as well. Okay, so that fixes it. I'm guessing probably the Boolean was the problem. Thank you, multiple people, for pointing that out. But yeah, just refer to the documentation, guys, because the documentation is like, documentation doesn't lie. So whatever you need, you can get from the documentation. So the installation parameters are fine. And we can move on to the next part. Yes, SuperSAS schedule ID, right? API key. Yeah, I think we can just remove this equal to sign. Then we do a .10 response. Okay. Yeah, response or response. Perfect. And then just need to pass it. Yep, show meetings. Amazing. So somebody else who wants to volunteer for the next one? I think you might need to request permission again in case, because I can't see any. Yep. Oh, hi, Ilya. Yep. Come on in. So what we need to do now is basically before this happens. So this part, right, this promise.all and everything after that is the part that displays the calendar itself. And what we need to do before that is just we need to make an API call for each of the meetings that we obtained from the previous step. From the step here, we need to make an API call for each of them, and we need to try and get the email ID of the contact. So I'll tell you how this is going to work. So if you look at the calendar has certain names, right, for the appointment itself. Here it says Leaky Cauldron, and in a different place it can say something else. Like here it says Flourish and Blots, whatever. So what's going to happen is basically using this task, we're going to try and get the contact email if it exists. So what we need to do is we need to use the search API. And so I've given you the details for that. So we need to make a get call to the search API. And we need to try and find if there's a contact with the same name. And if there is, then we're going to get the email ID as the response. So since this is a bit more complicated, I will also help you out, Ilya. So first, what we need to do is for each of the bookings that we have, we need to make this API call, right? So we're first going to map this. And then now we have a single booking. And what are we going to do with this single booking is we need to make the API call. So here you can fill in the client.request.get. Yeah, so which URL do we need to make the API call to? So that's decided by this get search URL function that's already present. And all that we need to pass to it is the name of the appointment or the person who booked the appointment, which is present in the full name attribute. Perfect. So there's something wrong with the person, like the function itself, right? So if we go look at the function, there's this part here that's not defined, which is construct domain. So we need to basically get the domain value, and we can do that, like I said, using the product context, which is now available to our app. So yeah, get URL. Okay, so first let's fix this part, right? So let's write the construct domain. Yes. So all we need to do in the construct domain is we need to check the product, what the product is, and define the domain based on that. So yeah, client dot context perfect. Product context. Client dot context dot product context dot.
Yep. Do you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ilya.
I'm a little bit lost in this documentation. Where's the context coming from?
So
What's
the
the exact
context.
method?
So it's the same as what you saw in the iparams. It's client.context.productContext
Yeah.
.name, right? So
Okay.
in both your iparams.js and your app.js, you can get the product name in the same way.
Mhm.
So what you can do is, because the API endpoints are going to be different, you can check what the product is going to be before you directly return the domain. So I think a lot of people might just assume that because Freshsales and Freshworks CRM are very similar, that the endpoints are going to be exactly the same. You just need to keep in mind that the domains are not exactly the same, right? So the first domain is going to be just whatever you get. So if the product is Freshsales, then you can just return whatever you get in the product context as the URL. That's going to be the domain. But if it's Freshworks CRM, then that's not the case, because you need to append something to that. So I think put that up in the documentation. So just check if the product name is Freshsales, and you can return the domain directly. And in case it's not, right? In case if the product name is going to be Freshworks CRM, then we cannot directly return whatever we get. We need to return the product context URL appended with something. So Ilya, you can just directly return this value. But because it's Freshworks CRM, we can't directly return this value. What we need to return is going to be this value along with a /sales at the end, because that's how the APIs are defined. If you guys just check out the documentation, again, it has this. Whenever you go to a particular API call, let's say I'm using the request method, your URLs are always going to have this. So you can just check out the Freshworks CRM details and it'll have this part, right? So okay, I don't think you can return this. You'll have to get the URL. So the product context has two elements to it, right? The name and the URL. So like I had explained, you guys can just go back and look at this anytime. So this is the product context object. It has a URL and a name. So you can just use that. Yeah, perfect. So now we have the product domain as well. And so our function to get the URL is complete. And we just need to basically call this URL, except we need to pass headers as well. So we will need to define the headers first. So you can say headers is equal to, and then this is going to be the authorization headers. So Ilya, if you can just fill that in, the authorization header for Freshsales is going to look this way. I'll just copy paste this comment near the end so that you can see it. This is, yeah, I put it just above the show meetings. Yeah, this is what needs to be there. So just need to substitute the API key. And then, we can just have options. Then we can say headers. This is going to be headers object. So just need to pass the options. Ilya, I think that's not the name of the iparam. The iparam is called API key. There's no underscore. No, you need to use the name here, not the type. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're going to make this call and we can't return it directly, right? So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to wait for this call to actually go through. I'm going to wait to get this, and then I'm going to put a dot then. And over here, I'm going to say, if I get some data, then I'm going to basically parse that data. And then I'm going to get the email from it. So to do this, you can just look at how the response is going to be. So the response is going to be an array with a single object in case it exists, or no object if it does not exist. So you need to be checking for that as well. Yeah, I think you can't directly pass the data, you just need to pass the response. Yep. Yeah, so what we can do is we need the email from this, right? So if we have the email, then we can return the object that's already there, which is basically the meeting object or the booking object. So we can return the booking object along with the email. And so this we can push to the end. And if there is a response dot, okay, so again, the problem is this is going to be an array. So you need to first check if response dot length is greater than 0. And yeah, so, and if it is, then you can be sure that there's going to be an email attribute inside it. So you can return this value here. Okay. So this is going to be response of 0 dot email. And if it's not there, then you can basically just say that you're going to return the booking object along with the email as an empty string. Actually, let's just put some brackets here so that we can identify easily when it shows up. Okay. And because this is a promise, in order to fulfill it, we need to return this. Okay. So, right. So the reason we're getting an error here is that all this part is waiting for all of these calls to get over, all of these promises to be done. So basically, we need to say updated bookings is going to be bookings.map. So this is the second part of our puzzle, which is the app.js part. So this is what we need to get, something like this. And let's check if that's happening. So first, for that, what we need to do is we need to enter the email IDs, or rather the fields. So for the CRM, I'm just going to enter CRM API key, the Super SaaS API key, the schedule ID, And then the prefix is a secret that you will see in just a minute. And then for sales, I'm going to can get the sales API key. And yeah, so that's it. And so we can go here and we can check if our app is working fine. I need to append here. So let's first check fresh sales. It's going to take a bit of time because it's making a few API calls. Or you might have made an error. Bookings.map booking. We're returning I think this should be fine. Okay, so let's just maybe check what sort of errors we're getting. Bookings.map is not a function. Is it saying bookings.map? Not a function. Okay, so we just need to pass dot bookings from here. So it's probably the only change. All right. And so getting a 401 error somewhere. All right, let's quickly check if we made.
I think I found it. It was there was a missing template equal sign.
Okay.
It's not needed. No, I haven't found it. Sorry.
No, you can just put that. Nope, still seem to be getting it. So okay, I think here this doesn't need to be a template string. This can be a regular string. Range, SuperSaaS schedule ID, and SuperSaaS API key are the names of the parameters. Yes. Now we can check it out. I'm still getting a 401. There's probably like something.
Are you sure that authorization is not misspelled in headers?
No, but I think it's. Oh, we can check.
Isn't it Z instead of S?
Might well be. Yes, I think it is Z. Sorry.
And in the show meetings as well, I've updated it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So let's just check it out now. Yeah, so it's working fine. So, this is how it's going to be. In case we do have the, so let me just go back here. So, when we're returning this, we can just add 2 brackets here so that we can differentiate this better. And moving on to the last part, just really quickly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the fields from the server.js response. And then we're going to put it into the value. So I'll just do this very quickly. So, all we need to do is we need to get the value. So what we're going to do is we're going to sync the deal when it's getting created along with, so here I'm just going to get the product context.name. And if this is fresh sales, then I'm just going to do I'm just going to leave it this way. Otherwise, I'm going to, so if you guys remember, we got a prefix field, and this is what that's for, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to append that prefix to the value that we have in case it's fresh CRM. If it's fresh sales, we're going to leave it as it is. And we're going to get the start time from the custom fields. So as you guys know, in Freshworks CRM and in Fresh Sales, the custom fields come as an array. And so we sort of need to find which field it is. So I'm going to find the field which has the name that I need. I'm going to say CF start. And this is CF finish. And here, I just need to pass all of those values. So I'm going to say the full name is the deal's name. Start is start.value, and finish is finish.value. And so we should be syncing this whenever we're creating a deal. So, the last part is obviously like we just need to change the manifest. So we already have this here. So we just need to add the events. So I'm going to say events, and then whatever deal we need. So on deal create, and you can say what the handler is going to be. So whatever the name of our function is, name of the function is on deal create handler. Right. So this is all that we need. And we're going to do the same thing for Freshworks CRM as well. So yeah, that's basically it. So now what we can do is, if you guys look, there's nothing here. So I'm going to go to the local web test page. And over here, you have a product picker, right? So now you can choose to test your Omni apps. You can test whichever one you want. So let's say I'm testing fresh sales, and I choose an event. My internet's a bit slow. Okay. Let's.
Excuse me, by the way, won't this Yoohoo and other task here ruin anything?
Sorry?
Yeah, it's okay now. There was an extra string that could cause issues.
Okay, so yeah, we can just go back to this part. Okay, I seem to be getting an error, but basically how it would work is that you can run whatever local tests that you need over here, and you will get the payload to create an event over here. So let me just try it maybe one last time. Yeah. So I have the products here. I'm going to say fresh sales, and then I can choose an event on deal create, and it's going to have whatever payload I need. And so my custom fields and everything is present. And if I simulate this, then it's going to basically create an event inside the product over there, or rather inside SuperSaaS. So I think I'm having internet problems, which is why it is taking a lot of time to load the local test, because I'm presenting it at the same time. But okay, so let's just reload that. Right. So here, you have an event that's been created. So I probably made some small error, which is why it's not showing you the exact name. But that again is overall what we've done, right? So we did 4 parts. So we did iparams, app, server, and then the routing. So these together sort of give you the different parts that you need. And like before I just tell you about what's lying ahead, it's just like it was so simple to sort of build together for 2 products, right? Because ultimately you still had the same structure. You still had a single manifest. You had the same app.js, template.html. You had a single iparams, and only small tweaks here and there made it work for 2 products. So what the road ahead is lying is, like Satvik said, Freshworks is moving towards a more suite-based model, and like we're offering bundles. And one thing that you would have seen is the omni-channel bundle, which offers you Freshdesk, Freshchat, and Freshcaller together. And so obviously our goal is to be able to support an Omni app that can run in these 3 products. So you write only a single app and it can run across Freshdesk, Freshchat, and Freshcaller. So that's basically what's coming. And so yeah, just to sum up, guys, I think like Omni apps present a lot of opportunity and potential for you guys. I think that this is truly like an infinity gauntlet for you guys as Freshworks developers, except it's stronger than the one Thanos had, because he could only use his to destroy people, and you can use yours to create stuff. So yeah, thank you.